All right, here we go. Whoops, I was afraid of that. All right, I'm not going to touch it. Leave it right where it is. Happy Friday, everybody. How's it going? This is Bernie Borges. Welcome to episode 6 of Poolside Sales Chat. Here I am with another beautiful sunny day in Palm Harbor, Florida. I have been asked, where is Palm Harbor, Florida? It is a suburb of Tampa Bay. Hey, Stacy, how you doing? It's sandwiched between Tarpon Springs and Clearwater, roughly half hour outside of Tampa Bay. So this is episode 6 of Poolside Sales Chat. And today I am going to talk about what is the difference between employee advocacy and social selling. So first, a little bit of background or context for today's conversation. Also want to point out that those of you that are watching this live on Periscope, cool, welcome. I can see people joining in. But then there are some of you that are watching this in the future, because we upload each of these Poolside Sales Chat videos from Periscope up to our YouTube channel, which lives at socialbusinessengine.com youtube.com/social business engine. So tell your friends who may want to see this to go watch it in the future at our YouTube channel. So once again, I am Bernie Borges. I am the executive producer of Social Business Engine. You can catch my podcasts at Social Business Engine on this and many other topics. So as I said, I'm going to talk about the difference between employee advocacy and social selling. And let me tell you what my inspiration was for this topic today. I am recording this on May 13th, and on May 11th and 12th, I attended the Gaggle Amp Amplify conference. In other words, the conference name is Amplify, and it's put on by Gaggle Amp. Gaggle Amp is a leading provider, a global provider of employee advocacy software that's used by lots of both mid-sized and large brands. And so there was lots of discussion there, lots of presenters. I had a chance to present some concepts there around how to use employee advocacy across different functions of the organization. Lots of brands, lots of people from both brands and agencies that were discussing best practices and strategies about employee advocacy. But then there was also some discussion about social selling. So it got me to thinking, what is the difference between employee advocacy and social selling? Now, honestly, I'm not here to answer that exact same question. I actually recorded a podcast with Glenn Gaudet, who is the CEO of Gaggle Amp. We touched on that, but what I'm really here to talk about is not so much which came first, right? Actually, that was the question that I meant to pose here. Which came first, employee advocacy or social selling? That's what I'm not going to talk about today. What I am going to talk about is what's the difference. So, first of all, employee advocacy is really a broader initiative. It really is the concept of getting employees across the organization to advocate on behalf of the brand. And that involves training them, giving them content that they can share, and enabling them, empowering them to be trusted advisors to the marketplace that you want them to engage with, right? So it involves training, some process, and some form of technology, something like a Gaggle Amp, for example. On the other hand, social selling is a form of employee advocacy, and social selling is devoted specifically to the selling discipline, right? So for example, if employees in an engineering firm, the engineers, were to advocate on behalf of their brand, right? That's great. They can advocate, but they're not salespeople. If developers in a software company, if they advocate on behalf of their brand, that's great, but they're not salespeople. Now, obviously, engineers and developers can add value and contribute to a B2B sales process, but the difference, though, between employee advocacy and the specific purpose of social selling is that it's the sales team that is actually intentionally and methodically and professionally using social engagement, social best practices, what we call social business practices, to engage with their prospective buyers. So what I'd like to do is cover what I call 3 pillars of social selling, all right? And the first one is engagement. Now there's lots of ways to engage, so I'll just point out a few of what I think are the fairly obvious ones, right? So you can engage with people through social channels by sharing their content and saying something that's intelligent about it. Retweeting content is another way to engage with people. Sending someone a personalized LinkedIn invitation is a way to engage. Adding comments to people's posts when they publish either a status update or when they publish an article on LinkedIn is another way to engage with people. So the idea behind engaging is that you're actually doing something very intentionally, very proactively with someone in a social channel. It can also be on Facebook. I'm just using LinkedIn and Twitter, sort of the more obvious ones for B2B, which is, you know, the world that we primarily focus on at Social Business Engine. So when you're engaging very intentionally that way, you're adding some value. And that leads me to the second pillar of the three pillars of social selling best practices, and that's building trust. If you're engaging in a really authentic way and you're adding some value and you're doing it over a sustained period of time, then you have a really good chance of building trust with the people that you're engaging with. And that's really important because if you want to do quote unquote social selling, which we call social business, you've got to build trust. You've got to be a trustworthy go-to resource that the people that you ultimately want to sell to believe that you have something valuable to add, that you are a trustworthy individual, and that reflects also on your brand, because the Edelman Trust Barometer, which comes out every year, says that employees are trusted more than the brand and even the CEO. So when you as an employee, even if you're self-employed and you're selling, right, B2B, when you develop trust, then you are increasing your chances of actually engaging with people who want to do business with you. And that leads me to the third pillar of social selling best practices, and that's relationship building. Now look, relationship building in B2B sales has been around forever, right? So in the context of social business practicing or social selling, whatever you choose to call it, you can build relationships online, even though maybe you've never met some of the people that you engage with, but ultimately your goal is to meet with the people that you want to do business with, right? So you want to build relationships. So the first two, engaging and building trust, can lead to a relationship. I personally have developed relationships with people over the years through my social business engagement. And several of those engagements, several of those relationships have actually become business relationships, revenue for me and my company. And these are relationships that started online and in some cases are still online only today. Some of these people I've never even met. However, I will tell you this, if you start a relationship with someone in a B2B relationship, B2B engagement capacity, and then you get an opportunity to meet them. Typically it's at an event, a conference or something within your industry, or even if you're traveling to the city and you know that someone that you've engaged with, you have a relationship with, lives in that city. It's a great opportunity for you to say, hey, I'm going to be there, let's meet up for coffee, lunch, dinner, whatever, right? When you meet, it's really special. It's really like, you know, you feel like you've actually known each other for a long time because you've built a relationship online. And I can think of a few people that I may never meet because they're in different continents. I mean, they are an ocean away from me, but yet I have a relationship with them that's a mutual respect, mutual respect for each other. And those are relationships that I really cherish. So those are the three pillars of social selling in the context of employee advocacy. Let me sum them up for you. They're engagement, engaging with people, building trust, and then relationship building. Now let me come back to employee advocacy, because employee advocacy, as I said, is a bigger, more umbrella term, right? And it really involves potentially all the employees of an organization. So there's sometimes a little confusion. That's why I'm doing episode 6 on this topic, between employee advocacy and social selling. You know, which is which, how are they different? And all I want to say is that employee advocacy does not necessarily equal social selling, because remember, there are many people inside of a company that can be advocates for a brand that are not in a full-time sales role, right? However, you can say that social selling is a form of employee advocacy. So it's okay to say, hey, if I'm a social seller, or as we like to call it, a social business practitioner, that is practicing a form of employee advocacy. And so I encourage you to think that way, and encourage you to actually even communicate it that way, depending on your organization, to the people that you work with. but most importantly, focus on the results that you deliver through the relationships that you drive, that ultimately drive business outcomes, revenue, sales, through those relationships. Okay, so hey, for more on this, first of all, I want you to be on the lookout for the podcast that I recorded with Glenn Gaudet, CEO of GagaLamp. Depending on when you're watching this, that's going to publish on May 18th. So if you're watching this in the future, past May 18th, that's going to be episode 113. So for that podcast and 112 other podcasts, go to socialbusinessengine.com or find it on iTunes or Stitcher. Or go to our YouTube channel where we publish each and every one of our podcasts, including these poolside sales chats. So once again, this is Bernie Borges signing off with episode 6 of Poolside Sales Chat. To your social business success. We'll see you next time.